Chargers. Touchdown, UCLA.
With USC great and NFL stud, Frosty Rucker.
The Trojans back in front.
And LAFB founder Ryan Dyrud on the Believe Podcast Network and LAFBnetwork.com. This is your destination for Los Angeles football.
What's going on, Rams fans? What's up? It's your boy Ryan Dyrud here on the LA Football Podcast. I wanted to jump on here just a few hours before kickoff of this huge Monday night game with rival San Francisco 49ers. I'm pumped, man. Niners week is one of my favorite weeks of the season. The rivalry is great. Fans, the hatred is real. The smack talk, you can see it on Twitter. You can see it live in person. It's fantastic. Fantastic. So we're a couple hours away from that game kicking off. Can Sean McVay get over this hump of losing to Kyle Shanahan, getting swept last year? McVay is obviously the better coach. There's no question. The fact that this was even an argument or a debate heading into this year, I think this year, again, proves that it's not. All of us Rams fans knew this, but there was the Niner fans out there that were holding on to this myth that Kyle was just phenomenal head coach. He's a good offensive coordinator. He's had some bad injury luck. As I've said many times, there's a luck side to it, and there's a way you run your operation side to it as well. And the personnel side, and what you're doing in day-to-day operations and practice. There's a reason why the Rams haven't had a ton of injuries this year. They've had more than actual usual, and the Niners have. Part of it's luck. Part of it is, your personnel decisions, how you run things in practices, how you push guys. So it's systematic a little bit more than just bad luck for Kyle Shanahan. So anyway, we're going to get all into it. But yeah, we're going to do a quick preview here of this game. Really looking forward to it. This show, the LA Football Show on the LA Football Network, is brought to you by MyBookie, the best sports book online, mybookie.ag. Rams in this game are 4-point favorites right now. Head to mybookie.ag, use the promo code LAFB, and they're going to double your deposit. It's free money. Say it all the time, but why say no to free money? MyBookie.ag, promo code LAFB, double your deposit. You can bet on this game. 4-point favorite the Rams are. I like that. I know this is a tough game. The Niners are the Achilles heel of this Rams team, but this, after a bad loss to the Titans, this game just feels different. This offense feels different. Huge loss to Bobby Trees, which we'll get to. But you add OBJ, who looks like he's going to play tonight. You add Von Miller, who looks like he's going to play tonight. And I think they win by at least a touchdown. You can also parlay that. I've seen some fun parlays. Von Miller gets a sack in his first start. OBJ gets a touchdown in his first start. Obviously, Matthew Stafford throwing over 300 yards is a parlay out there. Parlay all together, win some extra money. MyBookie.ag. Tell them the guys at LAFB sent you. Make sure you use that promo code LAFB. I'll have a link in the description below as well. But yeah, this game it feels, the Niners are a better team than 3-5. They are better than that. We'll give them some credit, but they're not a playoff team. And not just because of their record. There's that old adage, you are what your record says you are. And I think the Niners are overall better than 3-5, but they're not this Super Bowl contender that everyone had them as coming into the year. They're a mess at quarterback. They don't know what they want to do, whether it's Jimmy G or Trey Lance. Kyle can't decide exactly what he wants to do in that situation. So they're running this 2 QB system in a way very poorly. And I think part of that, honestly, is Trey Lance isn't ready. I love Trey Lance as a prospect. I was really bummed when the Niners picked him because I think he has the potential to be one of the best of this draft class. Just the intangibles, the size, the athleticism. But I think he's maybe just not ready yet. Played in an FCS system at North Dakota State, had all of last year off. He's only like 20 years old, 2021. So you just need some time. Didn't play it all last year. Get back under him. We all knew Jimmy G is, Jared Goff 2.0. Let's just say it. That's essentially what he is. He's good for a turnover a game. Doesn't give you much mobility. The only difference is Jared Goff was never hurt. So let's give that credit there. But Jimmy G hasn't played well. And Coach Shanahan can't seem exactly like Jimmy's his guy, but then he'll put Trey Lance in certain situations, but they won't commit to him. Carolina yesterday showed how to run a two quarterback system with PJ Walker, who was their backup XFL savant, and they signed Cam Newton off the streets, goes and gets 2 touchdowns for him right off the bat. Niners haven't done that. Now, obviously, they somehow always play better against these Rams. This is literally, it's reminiscent of the Jeff Fisher years when the Rams were always bad, but they always beat Seattle somehow. Seattle was a Super Bowl contender every year, but somehow the Jeff Fisher-led Rams always won that matchup. That's kind of what this has been. Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan. The Rams have always been the better team, except for, 2018 or 2019 when the Niners won the Super Bowl. But other than that, they've always been the better team. But for some reason, Shanahan and the Niners are their Achilles heel. And I know Niners fans are always going to hang that over our head. But I mean, we'll take the long-term results over it. But we do need to start winning these games. These are rivalry matchups that the Rams and Sean McVay need to start winning. So when you look at just like statistically speaking, or when you look at, Pro Football Focus grades, Rams right now are the number one overall graded NFL team. Graded over 91. Almost a 92-point grade. Niners coming in 11 at 81. And I've said many times, PFF is not the end-all be-all, but it's a good measuring stick. I think they have a lot of flaws in their grading systems. Honestly, I don't really know what their grading systems are. Some of it's just like, it's like they're throwing stuff at a wall, and I think people will use it. But overall, it's a good measuring stick. And sometimes it's better than just, rankings based on other things. So I like looking at the grades because, it gives a more context overall to team play. So Rams are 10 spots higher, 1 overall, Niners 11 overall. Offensively, Rams are 4th, 82.2. Niners come in 10th, 78.6 or 78.2. So again, the Niners are still in the top 15 in some major statistical categories as far as PFF grading is concerned, but they're not winning games when it matters. They're having poor quarterback play. I know the Rams, had some poor quarterback play last week, but yeah, it was a bad game. Tennessee is the top cream of the crop of the AFC right now. Matthew Stafford had a bad game. I think he's going to bounce back in this one. But the biggest thing and why the Niners team, I think, is struggling is when you look at their defense. Overall rating is 10th, so that's not terrible. But where this team's bread and butter is, or it was at least in their Super Bowl year, was this defensive line and this pass rush. With Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, they had DeForest Buckner, who I think is a much bigger loss than people are giving credit for. They basically trade him off, draft Javon Kinlaw thinking he's going to take his place, and Kinlaw just hasn't been that. He's been hurt as well, but he just hasn't been nearly the player that DeForest Buckner is. And that's kind of that adage to the Rams, like, why take a risk on a draft pick when you have someone or you want someone that is already a proven commodity? That's the formula the Rams have gone with. And it's worked out for him overall. Now they got to go win the big one. But overall. But anyway, this pass rush, the Niners were usually tops in the league, are 18th right now in pass rush grade at a 70.5. So that's your big difference right now in, I think, this Niners team and why they're 3-5. The Rams defensively, number 1 graded defense, number 2 graded rush defense, number 2 graded pass defense, number 10 in coverage. So it's like, I know there's always these conversations about Raheem Morris and what he's doing, but overall his defense is playing very well. They've given up some inopportune plays, but overall they're playing at a very high level. And now you add Von Miller to the mix, and you just get that much better. Now, how the secondary plays for a full 60 minutes, that's what we want to see. But overall, this defense has been very, very solid. I don't see them swaying at all against this Niners team, who is not a very good passing team. The biggest concern, and we did an article up on the LAFBnetwork.com that you should go check out. My man Ryan Anderson wrote it, are key matchups to this game. And one of the biggest matchups in this game is Deebo Samuel, who right now leads the NFL in yards after catch. Second on that list is Cooper Kupp, having a great year. But Deebo Samuel, that's a guy you got to bring down. He's going to get his touches. He's their number 1 guy in their offense. They run the ball very efficiently as well. But in the pass game, it's all about Deebo Samuel. I know George Kittle's great, but he hasn't been the same George Kittle this year, or at least they haven't used him the same way. So Deebo is the guy that when he gets the ball in his hands, he could be dangerous as hell. So that's going to be the biggest matchup for this Rams team, specifically the Rams secondary, And I'm curious to see if they're going to have Jalen Ramsey actually follow him or still stick to that star money role that he's kind of been. I want to see them just stick him white on rice, Jalen on Debo, because that's really their big threat. I know Brandon Ayuk has that burst as well, has flashed this year, and then he's disappeared in others. They have some other playmakers, but Debo's the guy. If you can shut him down, this offense is not scaring me with this Rams defense, especially with how they're going to be able to get after the quarterback with this pass rush and adding Von Miller, who looks like he will go tonight. Even if it's unlimited snaps or third down snaps. That's great. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I love the Rams in this game. I love this game. Monday Night Football. Manning cast is back. So I'll be flipping back and forth between that. If you're up in San Francisco, up in the Bay to watch this game, I hope you enjoy. Give us a shout out, LAFB Network. Talk to me on Twitter. I'll be, covering the game the entire time. So at Ryan Dyrud, LAFB, our main account at LAFB Network. Make sure to grab some Who's House Golden Road beer if you haven't. We got a bunch. Hopefully you'll be able to grab some of that, or hey, we'll get you some in the future. Hit me up. Love to get you some beer in the future. I like the Rams in this game. I'm gonna go that Sean McVay wants to put this offense on display. Last primetime game, they looked great. The opener against Chicago, we saw them really take off in that second half. Monday night game now in week 10, more established. Going into the bye next week, I think they leave it all on the table. I think they put up 35. And I think they hold this Niners team to 17. I know it's a big ask considering how these games usually go. But after the loss last week, after the additions they got with Vaughn and Odell, and again, huge loss with Bobby Trees, who is the heartbeat of this team, kind of the heartbeat of this city when it comes to LA football. That's how good he is, how much he means to this team, not just in, production, as a receiver, but in the blocking game, the run game, bubble screens, and just in the locker room. He's a captain for a reason. You could see how much it struck this team when he went down. But he'll be in there in spirit. This team's going to want to win for him. Odell, I think, is going to fit in seamlessly, even if he's not used, even if he's used in 20 snaps. He'll get some touches tonight. 35-17. Rams house. Let's see it. I'm Ryan Dyrud. Check in all week. We're doing a recap after the game. Actually, Brittany McReynolds, Brittany Betts on Twitter, is going to join me. We have some exciting news about she's joining the network, but she's going to join me to recap this game right after. So we'll be doing some stuff, have articles right up. So make sure to head to LAFBnetwork.com. But thank you guys for tuning in. Go Rams. Should be a great game. Talk to you all during the game. Like I said, at Ryan Dyrud, LAFB.